Tavares.
Right in the butt.
What?
No.
Less than a minute now.
Tool time for 200.
This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Ken?
What's a hoe?
No.
Spell garbage.
Garbitch.
What's good, everybody? It's D.A.N. I'm back in the building, baby. I'm glad to be back, man. It's been a long time, man. Welcome to the channel. If you are new to the channel, I'm D.A.N. What I do on my channel is I like to seek and share wisdom through philosophy. I'm glad to be back streaming, man. It's been a long time, yo. It's been a very long time. If you didn't know, man, I was furloughed for almost 3 months from my job. I'm a railroader. And finally, I'm back to work. I use quotation marks because it's always uncertain with the railroad. But as of now, I'm working and my schedule is crazy. If you didn't know, if you don't know, railroad life is very demanding. So my streaming it's not gone away, but I'm less streaming now. Trust me, I miss it. I miss streaming, and we'll kind of get a little bit into that as well. But I just wanted to give that small update about my streaming and me uploading and everything like that. Trust me, I miss it. I miss it so much. So I tried streaming. I tried bringing my equipment on the road with me, and I was like, man, I'm gonna try to stream, while I'm out on the rails, man. That didn't work, man. When I brought my equipment, man, I had put it like this. I had like maybe a 10-hour day or something like that. When I got to the hotel, man, I just crashed. I was just like, I'm done. So, man, it's very difficult, man. So my streaming is gonna be very spotty. And then I'm learning that we may be changing my work schedule to 6 and 3, which means I'll be working 6 days straight and then having 3 days off. That's going to be killer, man. But the good thing about it is if I can stay on the boards and I can make a lot of money, that's actually going to help me with the next phase of my life. And we'll kind of talk about it. I'm not going to tell you what the next move is, but we'll talk about all of that. But welcome to the channel. Welcome. I really appreciate you for joining, man. Hit the like button for me. Send me some comments, man. Subscribe, man. I can't have this conversation. What is it? Dang it. I always forget it, but I'll get the word. Mastermind, I believe it is, with Napoleon Hill. Anyway, I'll get that word and phrase. But anyway, today's topic, man. Illusion of happiness. And that is going to talk, we're talking about Casanova chapter 5. I think her name is Henriette. Or it could be Henriette. I don't know. But that's the name of the chapter. Chapter 5 is Henriette. All right. So I'm not going to talk about the entire chapter. I already know what I'm going to talk about, which is the illusion of happiness. So we don't have to worry about me doing going page by page and line by line. But just here's a brief synopsis of chapter 5. I'll go from some things that's highlighted of chapter 5. All right. First and foremost, it opens up with Casanova. Casanova is a gambler now. So I did know about him being a gambler in the past, but now he's so bad as a gambler, man. He's betting his whole fucking life's earnings. He's busted and disgusted, and he ain't got no goddamn money. He gambled all his fucking money away, right? It's like, damn. So much so that he had to borrow someone's ring or something like that, and he actually pawned the shit off. Like, this dude, I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? So he's a gambler. That's one thing about this chapter. He's a gambler. And that leads him to another city. Let me get the city name for you if I can find it. Excuse me, I had to scratch my dang on eye. Let's see if I can get the city. I cannot remember the city. Holy cow. There's so many words and new names and stuff, so I'm always missing it and forgetting it. But anyway, so that's the gist of that part. So next he goes to this city, right? And this city here, it's like you don't take anything serious in this city, the city that he goes to. So nothing is serious per se. Like if something happens, what's the phrase they used? There was a phrase he used in here that like they play pranks on each other. Nothing is really taken serious. If you take something serious, then what they do is the community is they look at you in a negative light, right? So that's the gist of this part of this segment. So Casanova goes to this city, and so here's the situation that happens and why he escapes from this city. Like he's always on the move. He's always on a run. He's always a fucking fugitive. So now he's in the city. I wish I had the city's fucking name. I'll start highlighting the fucking cities now. The city names. But anyway, he goes to the next city. And as I said, this is a joking city. Nothing is taken serious. So here's the scenario. He's with a group of women. And they're walking, I guess, in a field or some shit like that. And they meet a point to where they have to use a plank to get across to the other side, right? And so the ladies, they kind of reserve. They're like, oh, shit, something ain't right. Casanova, his ass just walked on the plank. And he falls in down, which and at the bottom is like a dirty pit. It's mud or whatever it is. And so come to find out, it's like the board was cut some sort of way. How I perceive the text is that it was meant to be a joke or maybe not meant to be a joke. But anyway, the board was short. So the ladies bust out laughing. And so Casanova has to pretend that it's, ha, 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 ha. But deep down inside, he's hurt. He feel like he's the butt of the joke. Remember, you can't really take anything serious in this city. So Casanova finds out who did the board this way, and he finds out that I guess he's familiar with the guy. They had some pranks on each other before. But so he was like, okay, I'll get this guy back. So what he does is he goes to a grave. He cuts off the arm of a corpse, and he takes this corpse and he goes to that dude's bedroom. The guy is sleeping, or he's trying to sleep. And so Casanova is pulling the sheets off of him. And oh, buddy, he's asleep. So he just pulls the sheet back on him. So they go through this back and forth motion. And then Casanova kind of makes it in the sense to where homeboy has to, I guess, wake up to, get the sheets on him. So Casanova has the corpse arm. And then I guess oh, buddy recognizes the corpse arm. And the text kind of cuts it off there. And they say that Casanova slides out of the room and he goes his way. And so I guess the next morning Casanova finds that the guy had a stroke, and everybody knows Casanova did the shit. And so they put him to a trial, and Casanova is like, nah, it wasn't me. And everybody's like, nah, it's you. We know it's you, blah, blah, blah. And so they charged him of playing a practical joke. They charge. What is that? Here, where is it? Right here. He thought his exploits a practical joke, not criminal behavior, which it technically, it says soon after he was charged with having disinterred. I believe that's how you pronounce that word. Disinterred. I read the word earlier. Excuse me for mispronouncing it. And disfigured a corpse. Even Casanova recognized that his behavior amounted to a crime of the utmost gravity. So he knows this, and so they charge him. So then he goes on a run again. So Casanova goes on a run again. So now he makes it to this city. What is the name of the city? Starts with a P. Oh my goodness. What is the name of the city? Excuse me, guys. Where's the name of the city? It starts with a P. It's not Prague. Anyway, he goes to the next city. I'll come across the word. He goes to this next city, and this is where he meets. Before he meets Henrietta, small bit. He gets arrested in. He gets arrested in the city for not having a lantern, and then he gets jailed for that shit. And then I guess the captain or whatever was like, man, the fuck, man, let him free. So they let him free, and he's with the cops, and they're drinking and shit. And then all of a sudden, the cops in them, they fucking prostitutes or whatever. But anyway, they were at a bar, and then Casanova walks out the bar, and then one of the prostitutes follows him, and then she put her moves on him, and he was like, all right, fuck it. And so he fucked her, and then that's it. He got his fourth. He suffered his fourth outbreak of venereal disease. So, man, Casanova is living his life. Wow. So anyway, he's in this city, and this is where he meets Henrietta. Henrietta, Casanova, they're both on the run. They're both on the run in this city. Oh, I wish I had the city. Prana. Is it Prana? Fuck. I gotta start highlighting the city names. That's what I'll start doing now. But anyway, it starts with the C. We're gonna say City P. P City. I don't know. But anyway, so he's on a run in this city, and he meets Henrietta, right? Long story short, Henrietta is on the run as well. So they both meet. Casanova sees this chick, Henrietta, and he notices, he senses, he knows something is different about her. Meaning she is not his usual strag. He always deals with strags, how they phrased it. What was the word? How they phrased it. She just wasn't the typical type of woman he dealt with. He always deals with, that's the best way I can phrase the word, as strags or just lower tier women. So he noticed this chick. This chick, she's different, right? And she's with a guy who's a Hungarian. Their relationship, Henrietta and this Hungarian guy. Oh, Parma is the city, Parma. Their relationship, this Hungarian guy, they had a title for him. They had a fucking title for him. The officer. That's what the title is. The officer. It was weird. Henrietta says that this dude is just a friend. I'm not gonna pause. I don't have to pause. But the reason why I'm misunderstanding the relationship is because later in the chapter, they said the Hungarian. They used the word Hungarian admirer departed. So I'm like, maybe he had feelings. How about this? He was the friend zone guy. He was a fucking friend zone guy. That's exactly what I'm going to interpret this guy as. But anyway, she's with this Hungarian guy, the officer or the friend zone guy. So Casanova, in his curiosity, in his dirty macking ass ways, he's pursuing her. Excuse me, 1 second. So his dirty macking ass, and once again, I told you at the beginning, he gambled all his money away. So Casanova, in his dirty macking ways, he sees Henrietta. He realizes that, this Hungarian guy is not really, he's not really putting moves on her, or the relationship is not girlfriend, boyfriend, or nothing like that. They're just friends. So Casanova, in his attempts, what he does is he finds this guy Casanova can find his way out of any fucking scenario. So this broke ass dude, remember he's gambling and shit. He may have got some money from the pawn ring, so on and so forth. But this guy, he notices her as different, so he goes out and basically does what us guys usually do. Guys with no money and we're trying to impress a female, what we'll do is we'll go out and go high and beyond and spin to impress this woman, right? So he does this thing. He buys this carriage and horse and all this stuff like that. And he was like, where y'all going? And they were like, we're going to Parmana. What was the city name? I said Parma, something like that. And so Casanova said, oh yeah, I'm going over there. So that's when he gets the carriage and horses and everything. So now he's doing some dirty macking activity. He's spending time with this chick, and he's vibing with her, getting to know her and all this good stuff like that. I don't think they had sex just yet, but he had to seal the deal and all that shit like that, right? Okay. So eventually, they get to a situation to where Casanova was fed up. He got into simp rage, and old girl recognized it. Old girl recognized that he went into simp rage. This is what she said. She even challenged him. She was like, "Do you know that you appear to be in rage?" Like, he went in simp rage, but like he had that moment to where he was like, "Bitch, what is we?" He didn't say bitch, but I mean, let's just call it what it is, fellas. Like when you trying to put the moves on a female and she's playing hard to get, and this dude was simping. Casanova was simping. Like, he's kneeling to this bitch. He's on his knees. He's pleading. He's begging. He's doing all this. He's simping hard for this bitch, right? So he's like, "What is it?" He's enraged, and old girl was like, "You don't see yourself right now?" He was like, "Well, I just need to know, what are we?" type shit. I'll get to that part in just a second. So, him and old girl, I guess they finally agree. Well, she see that she has him where she wants him, meaning in a submissive position. Let me say it that way. She sees him and she has him in a submissive position. And so she adores that. That's one quality I noticed about her. She accepts this shit and she adores it, right? But once again, they both have their past. They're both on the run. Henriette is coming from, her background is a bit strange to me. Why do I say that? She says that she comes from a convent, but then it says that she was married or her father-in-law and so on and so forth. She has a very interesting past. I believe she's married, but she's on a run. She doesn't want to follow orders, right? Some sort of relationship like that. She has a past. So they eventually falling for each other. They're spending a lot of time with each other. I mean, he's head over heels for her. So far, she's doing the same. She's not cheating as per text, as the text indicates. Like, she's into him. Like, they're spending a lot of time. I mean, they're in bliss. They are feeling each other, right? Everything seems good. But as things progress, as things go along, as time goes on, things start to unravel. Not that they unraveled. It's the time frame that they have. Their period of happiness starts to come to an end. Why do I say that? So they're in this city, but then Casanova is a Venetian, so he likes music, he likes theater, he likes the arts and all of that type of shit. She's like, I don't really fuck with all of that, right? But that turned out to be a lie, and I'll tell you in just a second. So, he's like this, and he wants to take her out. She's trying to stay on the low because she doesn't want to get caught. Of course, Casanova he's head over heels. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, he want to show the world his bitch, all that good shit like that, right? So eventually they start going out together, going to plays or orchestras, whatever it is. She is kind of laying low. Casanova's, he's in bliss. He's got his bitch here. So they go into different places. I believe they went to France. And this is where it got bad for him. Where when they got to France, I believe it was France, which is a bad mistake because girl is French. So they went right into the neck of the woods. I'm like, and Casanova even admits that later. He was like, damn, why did I take you here? Like, that was my mistake. He took it to the wrong place and she went along. They both were head over heels. Anyway, so they go to this place, French place, and Casanova's just in bliss and he's walking around and people are noticing them. They notice how beautiful she is or whatever. They, people compliment her. In one of the cities, Casanova is introducing her to some people, and some very important people are noticing her. And there was like this moment where the people were playing some sort of music or orchestra or something like that. And a girl, she was like, "Hey, let me see that cello." And so she takes the cello and she just, boom, 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 she's playing. I mean, it was a beautiful moment for everybody because she was really good at it, playing the cello. Casanova didn't know that. Remember, she said she wasn't really into the music scene or something like that, but the bitch played the cello or some shit like that. It was weird. Casanova, he's all crying and shit, and then the people, she was like amongst the French and the Italians and shit like that. And so people were kind of trying to challenge her to make her trip up. It's like, what do you think about the French and the Italians and all of that? And so she had her moment. She was like, she was kind of like a Casanova, if you will, meaning she took the moment and she didn't fumble the bag, meaning she took this moment and she used her words and wooed everybody. And Casanova, he's over there crying. Oh, his simp ass, he's sipping like a motherfucker. Like that's crazy. Like they're both on a run and they're both meeting each other. The thing is, she's higher ranked. He knew this, but he couldn't pinpoint it because she would not tell any of her history. So she's coming from a high rank, and Casanova's a bum. He's broke. His ass, he's a broke dude, just like us guys. Why do we do that? We try to impress women. Excuse me, once again. We try to impress women. Of course, our finances are important. Women date us not all the time because you can have a big schlong, if you will, and pipe the bitch down, and she could be good with that. Pookies and Chads and Ray Rays, they could pipe the bitch down. 6'8" the great. Sorry, 6'8". I'll just but yeah, man. But anyway, so she's higher class and he's lower class, and he's trying and it's working, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And she's with him. She's in love with him, and they're both in love, and he's simping and all this good shit. But then eventually he gets caught. They go to France, and he's walking around, and some higher guy who's a part of her family, some high-ranking guy notices them, and he spots them, and he's like, "Hey, okay, they get caught." And so their love affair comes to an end. But it's not the way that Casanova wanted to end. Casanova, my man, he is heartbroken, man. He was locked in his room. He was expecting her to send, she told him she was going to send him a 4-page letter, a love letter. And he gets the letter, and Casanova thinks it's going to be like, oh, my dear, my love, and all that bullshit. Nah, she was like, "Hey, don't look for me, man." Farewell. Casanova was in love. You know what? I appreciate the author for naming the title of this chapter with meaning to this person. Some of the previous chapters, I believe all the previous chapters, they named a random bitch. And I'm like, she was a nothing to him in the past, those women in the past. But this person truly was someone who captured him. And here's the thing, man. Let's talk about this, fellas. Let's fucking talk about this. As I said, first of all, Casanova dirty Matt to get to this bitch. Second of all, Casanova was broke trying to woo this bitch. She knew he didn't have no money, but she was in love momentarily. And I was like, damn, is there a movie somewhat like this? And I thought about The Notebook. I've seen The Notebook once. I think the girl of the movie, the wife or whatever, she was from a wealthy family, but the wealthy family wanted her to be with another wealthy person, but the girl wanted to be with the broke dude. right? But then eventually in the end, the rich girl goes with the broke dude. In this case, with Casanova and Henriette, it was the opposite. That rich family was like, no, bitch, you're not fucking with that broke ass dude. They didn't say that in the book, but obviously that's the case. They was like, no, get your ass back up here. We found your ass. And they found her ass. Good thing about this, she returned the money, all the money that Casanova was spending on her. She actually returned that. I thought that was pretty awesome of her. I was like, usually, women they ain't gonna feel no remorse for that. But I was like, that's pretty different. She felt remorseful for him and sent him back the money. So that was the name. The name of the chapter actually relates to the meaning of this chapter, because that was a very sentimental moment for Casanova. Yeah, man, my man was simping, bro. He simped out. He raged out for this chick. I mean, he was head over heels for her. All right, so let's get to the title, man. Let's get to the fucking title. Illusion of Happiness. First and foremost, I'm still going to talk about the chapter. The Illusion of Happiness. And Casanova had an illusion of happiness. Why do I say that? Because he was so in love, quote unquote, in love with this person. And he was happy. I mean, this dude was doing things that he wasn't really doing for himself. And that leads me to this book right here, Free Agent Lifestyle. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Man, let me show it to you guys. Check that out, guys. The Illusion of Happiness, man. It was an illusion, bro. Why do I say that? Because he was super duper happy to be with this bitch. And he was doing all of these things, man. I mean, Casanova was thinking, I don't want to say long term, but he was putting her above himself. Meaning, instead of him getting his shit together, he could get himself out of this difficult situation that he's in. Instead, he's doing all he can for her, right? And he's happy. But it was all an illusion. It was just an illusion. Why do I say that? Once again, he's on the run. She's on the run. They meet each other fine. They vibe. They vibe out. Okay, that's fine. It seemed a little difficult at the end, but she came around and he simped out and, she adored that shit and all that good stuff. Yeah. But it was just an illusion. That wasn't real, bruh. It was just an illusion. It was just an illusion. Like, bro, why? He wasn't thinking. He wasn't rationally thinking at this situation. Like, he instantly fell in love with this lady. And I'm like, bro, he didn't know anything about her. And he was trying to find out information. He was trying, but she shut that shit down. And I'm like, bro, you're so infatuated with this person, but you know nothing about it. It's just an illusion, right? Then this is what really took the cake. The topic and how this came about. Where is it? Right here. And just a small tidbit. So she speaks French, and I believe Casanova speaks Italian. And Buddy was a Hungarian. No, Casanova Latin. Casanova was speaking Latin. But anyway, so she eventually learns his language. I want to say it was Latin, but then it said Italian somewhere. Because she, Professor Mathematics, he instructed her to, so she started learning Italian. which was, I was like, okay, cool. So she like this lady was, I'm not gonna say she was the one, but she was different. Like she was really, it was different. This was a very different situation. But anyway, so she's learning Italian to speak to him. Their vibe is how they communicated. The vibe. Coach Greg Adams talked about that one time. He was like, because traveling overseas, he's traveling quite a bit overseas and shit. And someone was like, how do you communicate? And he was like, man, Google Translate. But he was like, man, when it comes to sex, you don't really need a lot of conversation. And that's the case with Casanova, how he got to her. Like their sex doesn't really need a lot of words, like communication. There was this fucking, god damn it, there was a fucking Instagram that was a perfect one. I don't know what movie it is, but it had Lawrence Fishburne. It was an old movie, and he was looking at this chick. The chick, I don't know her name, but I've seen her in some old movies. I want to say like old Kid and Play movies, I think. But anyway, there was this moment like he was looking at her and she was looking at him, and it was just like, and somebody put in the caption like, words really didn't matter, like his own. And that was a situation with him and Henriette. But she paid to learn Italian. She wanted to speak to him, and they learned and all that. And so now he's learning a little bit about her. This is one thing and I'm getting to the part where we get into the happiness, the philosophy of happiness. This is, if you can help me out. This is on page 107 of chapter 5. So she's learning things, I'm assuming. I'm going to just read this. It says, having a great deal and having natural taste, Henriette judged rightly of everything, and though not learned, she reasoned like a geometrist or geometrician. I believe that's how you say it. So that's a compliment. I take that as a compliment, right? She reasoned like a geometrician. I believe that's how you pronounce it, right? That's a compliment. Like, like you're thinking with reason. And I got to get into geometry a little bit more, man. I wanted to learn some more geometry. Like, I don't know much about geometry. The only geometry class I can remember taking was in high school. And I want to say like I was maybe a freshman or a sophomore. But I didn't get a chance to learn geometry. Why? Because my teacher was pregnant and she went on maternity leave, and we had to substitute the entire semester. We learned nothing. No, I want to say this is middle school. Was it high school or middle school? I can't remember. But anyway, I remember we had to substitute the entire semester, and we goofed off the entire semester, y'all. We goofed off. I didn't learn any geometry, man. And here I am, 40 years old, and I'm like, damn. Fuck, man. It's a lot of logic and reasoning in that. Man. So I take that as a positive that he said that. Oh, and one thing about that class that I took that had the substitute teacher in geometry, when we had the final exam, this lady here, we had a Scantron test, and so how she marked the answers was, if you take the Scantron, she marked it like a Christmas tree because we took the final exam in December, and so meaning the answer she had was A B C D, C B A, B, C, D. It was kind of, if you look at it, it was a Christmas tree, right? And so we looked at each other. We was like, Christmas tree, Christmas tree, Christmas tree. And we was like, what you mean? And we looked at each other's Scantron. We was like, oh, shit, a Christmas tree. and we all got 100 for that shit. And you know what? As an adult, when I haven't taken a Scantron test in forever, but I remember that traumatized me in the negative sense, meaning when I started taking tests, every time I would have an A, I would think B. And then if I had an answer that was B, I would automatically think C. that damaged my brain. I know this sounds stupid, but I started thinking that way every time I take a test in Scantron. Even to this day, if you give me a Scantron test and I mark an answer A, my brain is going to think B, 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 B. I don't know why. Because of that scenario, because of that situation, I always... Anyway, I remember that shit it was so crazy. I want to say it was middle school. But then again, I want to say it's high school. I can't remember what grade it was. But anyway, for someone that's studying geometry, I take that as a compliment. And then it continues and says, since she did not pretend to intellect, she never said anything important except with a laugh, which by giving it the color of frivolity, I believe that's how you pronounce that word, but it within the capacity of the entire company. At times, she was like a wife to him. At other times, a mistress. When we went to bed together, it seemed as if it were for the first time. So once again, he's in love with this bitch. But him saying she reasoned like a someone who studies geometry, I'm like, man, like, wow, okay, that's a compliment, right? But then here, this is where it gets a little confusing to me. Although Casanova experienced bliss with Henriette, he echoed the era's condescending assessment of female intellect. Okay, so he echoed the era. He echoed it, meaning how I interpret this. The era is saying that pretty much female intellect is not what it is. I'll continue what I'm saying here. In a woman, learning is out of place. It compromises the essential qualities of her sex. Then, two, it never goes beyond the limits of what is already known. For scientific discoveries have been made, no scientific discoveries have been made by women. To go beyond required a vigor that the female sex cannot have. But in simple reasoning and in delicacy of feeling, we must yield to women. That seemed, I'm confused. That part confused me. So is Casanova saying she thinks with reason? But then it says, although Casanova experienced bliss with Henriette, he echoed the era's condescending assessment of female intellect. So which one is it? Do you think this bitch is smart or not? Right? Why do I say why am I bringing all of this up? Okay, we got 23:07 here in the mountains. Okay, I'm trying to keep it under an hour. So right now we're at 38 minutes, so this is not bad. Why do I bring this up? So they're engaging in conversation. So they're spending a lot of time with each other. You know, like I just said, they're in bliss with each other. They're communicating with each other. She speaks his language now. And so there's this part right here. Living together, and this is on page 108 if you do have the book. Page 108, at the bottom, towards the bottom, it says, living together in this fashion and tasting the delights of true happiness. We scoffed at the philosophy that denies that happiness can be perfect because it maintains, it is not enduring. I'll read that one more time. So they're living together. I mean, they're together. They're spending a lot of time. They're fucking. They're enjoying each other. They're in love, whatever you want to call it. But they're having this conversation, right? And here's this part where I was like, whoa. Happiness is an illusion of happiness. Living together in this fashion and tasting the delights of true happiness. They even said this. True happiness. We scoffed at the philosophy. They did not appreciate this philosophy. They reject the philosophy that denies that happiness can be perfect because it maintains, it is not enduring. And then here let me read what Henriette's argument is. This is her idea or philosophy or argument towards happiness. Lifelong happiness could be compared to a bouquet composed of various flowers that would make a combination so beautiful and so harmonious that one would take it for a single flower. It would be crown their happiness, she said, for the two of them to die together after a lifetime of bliss. I was very happy with Henriette, Casanova affirmed, and she was no less happy with me. Aww, that's so cute. And we already know the ending of the story. That bitch left his ass. She had to go back to her life. They said, nah. Those folks was looking for her ass. Got her ass back to where she needed to be. But here's the lie. This is why I'm talking about the illusion of happiness. And she says this right here. It would be crown their happiness, she said, for the two of them to die together after a lifetime of bliss. Ma'am, what you just said was a bunch of malarkey. You didn't die with this man. And as she was leaving, she told Casanova, don't look for me. Don't come after me. Don't chase me. Don't do none of this shit. She cut him off cold turkey. She was ice cold to the motherfucker. He was heartbroken. I mean, this dude was locked in his room. She was like, don't look for me, bro. Don't look for me. And then when she sent the letter, she told him she was going to send a letter. And he happy to see the letter. Excuse me. And he gets the letter and she's ice cold to the motherfucker. She was like, farewell. You know, she was just cold. She didn't really say, I miss you, love you. She didn't say none of that. She was like, farewell, bye, bitch. Bye, you bitch, motherfucker. The illusion of happiness is just an illusion, yo. The state, it's a state. It's just a moment in your life. And he was experiencing this moment with this person. They both were on a run. They both had crazy paths chasing their ass. And they just so happened to meet each other. Right? And this is one reason when I was reading, I was like, this shit ain't gonna work, bro. It's not gonna work. When I was reading it, it just didn't seem right. One, I was like, you don't know this bitch. And I was thinking she had a crazy past, but it wasn't so crazy. But the point where he was spending and splurging on her, trying to impress her, and I thought about my own fucking life. I got time. Let me tell you about my personal life. And a very interesting part. See, Casanova is still young. He's like maybe early 20s, maybe mid 20s. He's getting older. He realizes like, okay, like, man, something's different. Like the shit that he used to get away with, he can't really get away with, or his age is starting to settle in, if you will. So he's experiencing this shit at a young age. I experienced something of the sort. I'll say the year, about 2018, right? So this chick here, she wasn't rich. However, this is why I don't encourage guys who are older like myself. I'm 40. If you're 40 years old as a guy, I do not encourage you to go and pursue someone that's 40 years old or higher or older women, because their experience may not be like in Casanova's case where old girl Henriette was wealthy, but older women have experience that you may not have. And like in myself, my situation, in 2018, I met this chick, right? She was from New York, right? And I met her through a friend, right? My friend was like, yo, she feeling you, right? And I wasn't really mentally there. I wasn't even thinking about the chick. When I first saw her, to be honest with you, when I first saw her, I just wasn't there, man. Like I was still thinking about somebody else, my ex-girlfriend. You don't know any of these people, so I'll describe them. My Hispanic girlfriend who was younger, right? And this was my first experience dating someone younger. And I'm like, yo, it's such what's the word? It's such a relief in terms of a balance, right? Here's this chick that I met through a friend from New York. We were about the same age. I want to say she's born like maybe a few weeks. Like I'm my birthday is in August. Hers is in July, right? So she's just a few weeks older than me, right? But she has experience over me, right? I fell head over heels, not instantly, because I was still thinking my ex Hispanic, the young chick, right? And I'm still thinking about her, and so I missed when we met. I wasn't really feeling her. My mind was still on old girl, my ex or whatever, and and so when we met, it wasn't that we hit it off, but she saw something in me, and so my boy, he was like, "Yo, man, old girl feeling you," and I was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "She want to get your number," and I was like, "Yeah, you can send it to her, whatever." And so when we started texting and everything, I was like, bam, it hit me. I fell it right over heel, just like Casanova. Like I simped out for this chick, man. I put her above me. I was spending, like, this chick had, I wouldn't say extravagant taste, but she enjoyed going to really nice things. And I said that about Casanova. See, remember, Casanova was dealing with lower tier women, which means he's lower tier. He's not higher class status. He never came from a high class status family. He's coming from these rough backgrounds too. And so he's doing kind of like what I did. We did the damn near the same exact thing. Meet this chick. I'm not saying she was high class, but she had a lot of experience, and the things that she did, and I could tell she had been around some, I don't want to say wealthy people, but she name dropped some I don't want to say popular names, but some what's the word I'm looking for? She name dropped some very, if you're in the hood or in the black community, some of these names, some entertainers, let's just say it there, some entertainers. She name dropped some entertainers that she had been around. So I was like, oh, I didn't take it like, I was like, oh, wow. Like, wow, okay. Cause she sung, she was a singer in her youth or whatever. But I was like Casanova, I fell in all over heels to this chick. I was like, wow, man. And she wasn't in her prime, but she looked really good. No cap, she looked amazing. And I was like, wow. And she was the ideal type that I had been looking for, not before my ex-Hispanic girlfriend. Like when I was younger, I was looking for her. Like she was my type. And she showed me some pictures of her when she was younger. And I was like, damn. And I was like, yo, like you were the one I was chasing when I was in middle school, when I was in high school. Like you were that one. Only difference is she has a mixed background from, I don't want to give too much because you motherfuckers will go, you motherfuckers will know, y'all will find some shit, yo. I don't want to give too much. But anyway, she has some cultural background, like she can pass for Puerto Rican, or she can pass for all kinds of shit. And I was like, man, like she has a background. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I said all that to say, just like Casanova was going head over heels, it was just an illusion of happiness. And I was like him, I was happy. I felt this like, wow, like, man, like I'm putting myself in different environments that I usually did put myself in. And like, she liked to go to brunches and shit. I never been to brunches and shit like that. And there were really nice restaurants. She lived in a really nice apartment complex. I mean, her lifestyle was really nice. Really nice. I don't know how and who and all that stuff, how she funded it, whatever. But then you take myself, I lived on the opposite side. This was in Houston, H-Town. This is back in the day, and I lived on the opposite side of town. The side of town I lived on wasn't as nice as hers. I lived in a nice apartment. It was nice. Hers was nicer. I'm saying all this to say that her lifestyle was very different from mine, right? She liked to go to nice restaurants, all that stuff. I'm a guy from South Park, South Side of H-Town. Not saying that we don't do nice things for ourselves, but for myself, I wasn't doing those things for myself. And Casanova was doing the same thing. He was doing all these extravagant things for this chick, but he wasn't doing that for himself, right? You can get a carriage and all of this stuff, but he never did that shit for himself. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams and the free agent lifestyle. My mindset is different now. I'm thinking about self. Like, I don't, when I do things, I don't be thinking, oh man, how can I impress this chick? No. I'm the prize. I need to take care of myself. I need to make sure I am my priority. I need to take care of self. So anyway, I'm saying all of that. Of course, just like how it ended with Casanova, the bitch cold and left, all that good stuff. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, she broke my heart. I was just like Casanova. I was locked in my room. I was locked in my apartment. I was sick, man. I was gone, bro. I was like, whoa. That was the deepest that I've ever felt happiness or love, if you will. I was like, damn, man. Oh man, and that was the last time I felt that. I eventually got back with my ex-girlfriend, the Hispanic girlfriend. I was maybe 36 and she was 21. She had just turned 21. She was 20 when we met, and then she turned 21. I remember that because I went to her birthday party. I met her out with her girlfriend and all her friends or whatever, girlfriends and all that shit. Anyway. I ended up getting back with her. And here's another thing, guys. When women know you got another chick or you moved on and you got somebody else, them chicks, they're going to be like, now she peeping and all that. So they kind of got me back in the door with my ex who I wanted to really be with, even though I had met the girl from New York or whatever. But I really wanted to be with, I don't want to say her name, but she's a Hispanic. I be checking her out on. I be doing a little. I be doing a what you call it, lurking, if you will, trying to check my Hispanic old ex-girlfriend out. I be peeping. I be following her on social medias. I don't follow her. I be peeking to see how she doing and whatnot. Man, I can tell you, man, she blew up like a Goodyear blimp. Oh my goodness. I don't miss her at all. What was his name? It's a guy, Sultan. I have him on my Instagram, Sultan. Because I want to credit this guy right now. He said something very inspirational. We just vibing right now, if you don't mind. We're just vibing right now. And we'll get into the happiness in just a second. I'll wrap it up. Right now, we got 53 minutes in. Let me see if I can get this guy's name. I follow him on... And now he doesn't pop up. What the fuck? Usually he's the first to pop up. Sultan of Savage. It's an older guy. He has a beard. And one thing he said was, you don't really miss your ex. You miss the things y'all did. You miss that. I miss her body. And not her big ass body now. She blew up. She's tall. She was at least 6 foot. I love tall women. So, that was beautiful, man. Pale skin, if you will. Curly hair. But she blew up like a Goodyear blimp now. I'm like, shit, god damn. But I missed her when she was in her prime. Like, she was slim, yo. Tall, 6 foot, slim, flat ass. I like them flat backs. Got that flat booty. Like, her booty was flat, but she had meat. It was meaty, but flat. But Sultan said something very positive. Like, he was like, you don't miss her, because I don't miss the shit that I had to deal with. Like, our cultural backgrounds. Like I said, she was Hispanic. I'm black, if you will. Our lifestyles, our backgrounds, totally different. But our vibe, our chemistry at that time it just worked. It just vibed. And I missed that part. Once again, we're talking about that happiness. It was just an illusion. It was just a moment. It wasn't supposed to last long. It was just for that moment. That was something I needed in my personal life. Like, I needed that experience. I had been going through a lot, man. My life was going through so much turmoil. I went through so much, and she was like a beacon of light, if you will. You know, like she was a moment that I needed to get me out of my depths of deep darkness. You know, not saying that she was the one to get me out of it, but it was just nice it was refreshing, like for my brain. Just a small backstory, man. I was homeless, bro. I was homeless, man. I was homeless for a year and maybe a few months, and my mind was just dark, man. I was like, man, and only thing that saved me was philosophy. That saved me, my mental stability and shit. Man, being homeless is tough. It's tough. At first, I was like, man, I could do this shit. And how did I get homeless? So I was living with my high school sweetheart, but it wasn't even a relationship. It was pretty much, what's the word that someone used? An attachment. I was just attached to this person. I didn't have any love. You know, like this person this is a person way back when I was a younger person, my high school sweetheart. And I had fell on some hard times, and I ended up moving back with her and her parents. I lived with her parents, and I had been living with them for a long time. Like, I lost myself, man. I lost my drive and everything. And so I was a high school teacher, and then just my life, my mental, everything was just going down, and I'm searching for answers. And she's religious, and her family, you know, they religious, and me, I'm like, no, I'm not religious. I'm like, religion wasn't answering any of my questions. I was just like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And she knew that I was changing because she gave me some sort of little stupid ass test. And she was like, oh, wow, you do think different. Because when she knew me, I was this just energetic dude, just loud, obnoxious, and all of that shit. But I was like, I'm sitting up here telling her, I'm like, yo, like, I'm not thinking like I'm not that person. Something in me clicked. So fellas, if you, something in your life will click. Like Casanova, something in his life is clicking. He notices that he's getting older and things are just different. Like like I said, the things that he used to be able to do, it's not that he can't do it. It's just different. It doesn't flow as easily as it did when he was younger. Right. And so that was how, when I got to when I got my first degree, after I got my first degree, something clicked, but I couldn't detect what it really was. So I'm still pursuing my I'm just pursuing, I'm chasing and trying to find what it is, my purpose and everything. God, and I was getting dark and deep and just lost, right? And it didn't work in terms of with my high school sweetheart, staying with them. I was like, yo, I gotta get out of this. I have to get out of this because I didn't love this person. My thought process wasn't nowhere near theirs, hers, her family's, the church, everything. I was just like, yo, I can't be around y'all. I thank them. I mean, if they didn't know this, I thank them, like me deep, like for them. I don't want to say housing me, but that's the best way I can say it, because they held me down for, I didn't have any money and all that shit. But at the same time, they were holding me down. Like my thought process was not theirs. And so that's why I was like, fuck this shit, man. I had got out of from teaching because teaching was a very drain on my thought process. Teaching was very difficult. I did it for 2 years and I said, I can't do that anymore. And I just went homeless. I just went silent, just went ghost, right? I did hang out with the high school sweetheart every now and then, but that shit started to fade off. She did her own thing, and I already know where her situation. She's married. A guy that was trying to dirty mac me, and I was like, bro, like, because the dude that she's married with now, he had came up to me one time. He's a preacher. He came up to me. That's why I tell these dudes, I'm like, man, watch these preachers, man. They will fuck your bitch, dog. Even though that wasn't my female, that wasn't my bitch or nothing. I'm like, dude, like, why are you, bro? You dirty ass motherfucker. Like, bro, he came up to me. I applaud him for, being like a Casanova, if you will, coming up to me trying to see what the vibe is between her. But he was like, I forgot what he said. He was like, he's gonna get her off of me or something like that. I'm like, bro, I don't know. I forgot what I said, but I dismissed him. I was like, excuse me. This is gonna be the rare time that you hear me say the N word. But that's the vibe. I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you and that bitch. Like fuck you, dog. I don't give a fuck, man. That's the attitude I have. That's how I was at that moment. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, dog, whatever. So lo and behold, like, dudes, fellas, your bitch gonna always have some dudes pursuing her. I don't want to argue about that. That's what it is, nigga. I said it again, man. Now I'm starting to get a little bit angry. It's not angry. It's just like, yo, this is kind of getting deep now. It's like, yo, like, I was getting a lot of red pills, if you will. And I couldn't adapt and I couldn't grasp all of it because I didn't have anyone to kind of guide me like, yo, okay, guide me through this. And I'm trying to adapt to all of this shit in my mind. But anyway, this dude here, he's married. He's married to her now, my high school sweetheart. They're married and all that. That's a bad matchup. I'm like, dude, you think you winning? You're not winning, bro. Like, that bitch don't love you, dog. She doesn't love you, bro. Like I keep telling you, that's a bad matchup. If you're 40 as a guy and you meet a chick that's 40 plus, bro, that's a bad matchup, dog. She's been around. She's been in the gambit. Like, bro, you want something that's she's not even in a prime, bro. Like, that's not a flex, dog. That's not a fucking flex. Anyway, I'm not even trying to get so far into that part of the conversation, but my point of saying all this is that when I got so deep, the ex-girlfriend that I had, the Hispanic chick, she was like a beacon of light. Like, man, like, I was like, wow, okay, finally, shit, like, whew, like, wow, and things are starting to pick up for me. In my life, I was working on campus. I got my apartment. Things were working out. It was still difficult. But my point of saying that is that in this, I guess you can make this conversation about relationships, and not even just relationship. Happiness is just an illusion. It's just a state. It's just a moment of time. It's pleasing. That moment is pleasing to you, but it's just an illusion. It's going to fleet. It's just momentarily, man. Let's get into, I'm going to share my screen, man, because I wanted to just look at, and I wanted to get deeper into the happiness. And we talked about it in my philosophy class, and maybe I'll do some digging and kind of look up some of my books. I still have some of my philosophy books, but I just wanted to look at some definitions, man, of happiness, man. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll take a look at it together. All right, check it. This is happiness. I just typed in happiness, and AI says happiness is a state of well-being characterized by positive emotions like joy, contentment, and satisfaction. It's a subjective experience. It's subjective. Like, your experience is different from my experience. It's subjective, varying from person to person, and can be influenced by various factors like circumstances, values, and emotional resilience. While often associated with pleasurable activities and achievements, happiness also encompasses, hopefully you can see this, encompasses a sense of meaning and purpose in life. It's just a state of well-being. It's not lasting. And so when we experience happiness, I'll go to the big screen just for a brief moment. Like Casanova, when he was experiencing Henriette, he went head over heels, which was a big mistake. Because I'm like, bro, this is just momentarily. Bro, this is not going to last. When I was reading this, I was like, bro, it's not going to last. I didn't even know fully her full background, but I was like, she's running from something. You're running from something. That's not happiness, bro. That's not long. They were using the word long. What was it? Long. She even used the word lifetime. They're using these words like living together, lifetime, lifelong happiness. Like, bro, no. No, 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 no. Whatever you are experiencing, whatever it's good, and the definition related it to something positive, right? That positivity, I'm not saying it's going to end, but just realize it's just an illusion. It's just a moment of time. That's going to change. I'm not saying your view is going to change of the situation, because how about this? I'm in a process of changing my life for the better, right? Before I do that, let me show you another definition that I want us to look at. This definition right here, pursuit of happiness. Why did I use, that's a common phrase, or a phrase that we use in the United States. Pursuit of happiness. They even made the movie Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. Good movie. The pursuit of happiness. Like, let me go to the big screen just one more time, and then we'll start wrapping this up. The pursuit of happiness. Like, we always seek happiness. We as humans, we perceive happiness as the goal, the answer to all. And what I am here to tell, as for sharing wisdom, happiness is not the goal, because happiness is only a moment. It's just a fleeting moment. It's just a small portion. It's just a small, it's so quick. Like Casanova and Henriette was a short experience, bro. It wasn't a lifelong experience. It was a short-term experience. That shit was short. Maybe 3 months, maybe. Kind of like with the girl from New York. Like, I went head over heels for her, bro. Head over heels for her. That shit didn't last no more than probably 3 months. And it probably ended way before that. She was probably already ready to jump. She actually, to be honest with you, she was already ready to go. I remember certain certain red flags that she said, and I was like, damn, that's the cue to leave. One time, I forgot where we were, but we were getting heavy, and she was like, damn, I didn't come to H-Town or Houston. I didn't come to Houston to get serious, or something of that nature, she said. I overlooked that because I was so head over heels. I was so in love, man. I was Casanova at that state. I was just so engulfed, thinking lifelong. This was the very first time, the chick from New York was the very first time I had ever thought of having children with a woman. Like, yo, I want to have children. I want to have a family. I was thinking of marriage for the first fucking time. If you know me from my past, I was in marriage. You crazy. I ain't never doing that shit. Right? But that was the one time in my life, in my 40 years of living, that I was like, yo, I want to get married. I want to get married to this chick. I was head over heels. I was Casanova, man. Like, yo, not knowing, with wisdom now, I'm like, yo, like, what are you doing? What are you saying? Like, you don't know this chick? I didn't really know old girl from New York, but I was so involved with her. Right? I didn't think to say, damn, this bitch is running from somebody. She's running from shit from New York. You come down from New York to H-Town, Houston, bro, you're running from something. I didn't think like Casanova. Casanova was thinking, though. I got to credit him. He was thinking. He was trying to figure out some information. But conventional wisdom now, when a bitch is running from another city or state to another place, just jumping, leaving, bro, she's running from something. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams for putting that wisdom in me to recognize that now. When she's running from somewhere and she's not telling you nothing, she's picking up and saying, hey, I'm moving from New York to Houston. She's running from something. That's not going to work, bro. She's running from something. She's running from her past. Her past is going to catch her. Damn it. I got something in my eye. Shit. God damn it. Shit. But yeah, man. God damn it. Shit. She's running from something, bro. It's not going to work. So that experience that you were having with her is just momentarily. I didn't know that then. I had no one in my corner. I didn't have Coach Greg Adams in 2018. I had no red pill for someone to, slap me with some goddamn sense. Like, yo, wait, slow down, dude. Slow down. Think this shit through. Happiness is just an illusion. It don't even have to be with relationships, a job, whatever it is. And now we can get into the definition that I want to look at right here. This is what I'm talking about. So that word pursuit, or that phrase pursuit of happiness, is as referenced in the Declaration of Independence. The pursuit of happiness, as referenced in the Declaration of Independence, means the right to freely seek and strive for a fulfilling and meaningful life, encompassing various aspects like personal growth, self-discovery, and the freedom to pursue one's goals and aspirations. That sounds great. Shit. Why did that happen on camera? God damn it. That sounds great, man. Striving for a fulfilling and meaningful life, encompassing various aspects of personal growth, self-discovery, and the freedom to pursue one's goals and aspirations. That sounds awesome. But this right here, the second sentence, was the one that I was like, yes, but why didn't AI highlight this? This is the part that I'm like, this is why I'm saying it's just an illusion, bro. Why didn't they highlight this part right here? I can't even goddamn highlight it. It's not about a guaranteed state of happiness. That's the important part. But rather the freedom to actively seek it through one's choice and actions. This part right here, this is the valuable part right here. God damn it, I don't want you to explain shit. It's not about a guaranteed state of happiness. That is the essential part right there. And then they go in and talk about this concept is rooted in Enlightenment ideals and classical philosophy, and emphasizing virtue, self-mastery, and the importance of a life lived in accordance with one's values. That's the part I wanted to highlight right there, man. That's the part right there that we don't talk about, man. That's important. It's not guaranteed. It's not a guaranteed state of happiness, man. And even in the text, oh girl, she's sitting up here gassing it up. She's gassing the fire up. She's using the words lifelong and all of this shit. In Casanova, no one was in Casanova's pocket or back pocket to say, bro, that shit is not gonna last. That is the point that I'm trying to share this wisdom. Happiness is just an illusion. It's just a moment. It's just the state of bliss that the irrational or human side of us feels so happy. Joy, if you will. We feel that joy, like, this feels good. It does feel good. But that's just an illusion. It's gonna fade. You, like myself, I'm pursuing certain things in my life because I'm seeking to boss up in my life. Let me say it that way. I'm seeking freedom. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I'm seeking peace, quiet, and freedom. And shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. Like, I'm seeking freedom. Like, I want freedom in my life. I don't want to be poor anymore. I want to be wealthy. Right? And so I had to stop. Like today's lesson, I had to stop. Even right now, I have to stop and say, wait, okay, I'm pursuing these things. I'm going to say, yes, I am going to be successful. I'm going to grind. I'm going to do what I need to do to get to where I need to be. That does not guarantee happiness, though. I want that to be mindful. I'm not saying do not pursue it because I'm still pushing forward. I'm going to pursue it. I can tell you right now, the state that I am in is not happiness. Like being an employee, it's not happiness. It's not a state of happiness. So I'm not going to do this shit no more. Being poor that's not happiness. Right? I can't experience life being poor. The greatness or the benefits or the great qualities of life. I was catching Coach's stream from yesterday, and he was slapping some of the guys up in the chat. He was like, yo, there's 4 seasons and your ass ain't even take one goddamn vacation, right? And some of the guys, they're bitching and moaning, but I'm like, bro, I've been there. If you didn't follow me, and if you follow my channels, or if you follow me on my social medias, you know I was furloughed for damn near 3 months. This was the very first time in my life, in my 40 years, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go and travel and enjoy my life. This was my first time taking a first class flight intentionally. I told you, if you ever catch my previous streams, I took a first class flight when I got out of the Air Force tech school. And I had already paid for my ticket, and the stewardess, I guess that's her title. I cannot. Anyway, they upgraded my ticket to first class. I didn't know that was my first time riding a plane. But later in life, I was like, oh shit, that was first class. Here I am, 40 years old, and I was like, yo, I want to experience first class. Like, I didn't do anything my first time when I got out of tech school in the Air Force. I was all, I was sitting up tight, and I'm in my dress blues and shit, and I'm just, I didn't know what to do, say, and I was just like, oh shit, so I didn't really experience it, right? So I said, man, I'm gonna experience this shit. I'm gonna experience life. I'm gonna take a first class flight. I'm gonna stay I stayed in the Four Seasons, a 4-star hotel. I had never done that. I was trying to experience life. Now I'm saying all that to say is that takes money. Now, here's the thing. It didn't seem like a lot. However, to keep doing that, it will compound. It'll start hitting your pockets, right? So those guys that was in the chat, they were upset. Like, man, taking vacations and all that. I've been there. They're upset because they didn't have the money. When you have the money, your outlook changes. You're like, oh shit, okay, how much is first class flight? Let me grab that. Yeah, right? Right? But that experience, it can be seen as happiness, right? Sure. But I'm looking at it as a standard of living. Now, that's different from happiness. Like, your standard of living. Like, Coach is like, yo, you need to take 5 vacations a year. That's a standard of living. Take fucking vacations. Now, that aspect is what I'm looking for, a change in standard of living. I'm being mindful about my choices, knowing that the choices I make, they're not always guaranteed with happiness. That is the part that I'm trying to emphasize or share the wisdom. Like, whatever you're trying to do and pursue these goals and all of that, man, pursue that shit. Achieve your goals. Just note that do not look for guaranteed happiness in these positions of this life that we seek, right? Let me go pull it up one more time. Right? The pursuit of happiness is giving us the right to freely seek and strive for fulfilling and meaningful life, encompassing various aspects like personal growth, self-discovery, and the freedom to pursue one's goals and aspirations. Sure. But do not look at it as a guaranteed state of happiness, though. That is the part that we don't look at. We overlook that part, man. Casanova, when he was dealing with Henriette, he overlooked that, this shit is going to end. He was head over heels. She was gassing it up. Yeah, baby, we gonna do this. We gonna do that. We gonna do that. We vibing every night. Now, it's going to end, that state of happiness. I don't know how long it's gonna end. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's going to end. I'm not saying it won't come back again. It will come back again. All of this shit is all cyclical, just like the 4 seasons. That shit is cyclical. It's going to come back again. It will come back again. But just note that state is not going to last. That is the part that I wanted to talk about, man. It's just an illusion, man. These states that we deal with, even sadness, so on and so forth, it's just passing, man. All of this shit is just, I keep saying it like life and death, man. These things are just flowing, bro. I don't know how to describe these things, man, but they're just flowing. It's just moving as time. It's just moving. It's just flowing. That's all I wanted to talk about, man. That was the part that I really wanted to focus in, man. It's just a state of happiness. It's just an illusion, man. That happiness that you feel, even that sadness, how about that? It's just an illusion. It's just a moment of time, man. Something is happening, something is transpiring. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy it, but just realize, okay, it's gonna come to an end, man. It's gonna come to an end. Not saying it's not gonna come back, but just know, just be prepared for, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm enjoying the moment. Okay, cool. It's gonna be a time I'm gonna get off. Sure, you can get back on. It's gonna come back around. That's all I want to share, man. It's just an illusion, man. It's just an illusion. Illusion might be a tricky word for some people, man. It might be a tricky word. But it's just an illusion, man. It's just life. It's just giving you, let me look up the word illusion, man. Excuse me. Let me look up the word illusion, man. Illusion. An illusion is a false or misleading perception or interpretation of something, often involving a misrepresentation of reality. Yes. It can be a deceptive appearance, a false idea, or a misinterpretation of sensory information. Yes. Illusions are distinct from hallucinations, which involve experiencing something that isn't actually present. Yes. Yes. That's exactly what Casanova, myself, when I experienced old girl from New York. And shit, not even only just her. I've had in love experiences in the past, but this one was the one that I was like, yo, like, you know, but it was a false or misleading perception or interpretation of something. I misinterpreted that. Casanova misinterpreted this experience. He misinterpreted like, yo, this bitch is running from something. She's running from someone, something. And she was running from something or something. You just misjudged it. You misinterpreted the scenario, the situation, often involving a misrepresentation of reality. Reality is, this bitch don't love you. Old girl from New York didn't love me. None of these bitches love you, bro. None of these bitches love you, man. How about this? Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Men are in love. Women are in business. It can be a deceptive appearance. Yes. Yes, it was all deceptive. Oh, girl, she's playing a part. She played that shit very well. Henriette played that part. A false idea. She gave the false idea, talking about lifelong and using those type of words. She was in a higher class. And he was, they used the word slumming. She knew this. She knew this. She knew he hadn't had no money. Right? She gave the false idea that she gave the false idea that this was going to last. And she knew it wasn't going to last. She knew that. Or a misinterpretation of sensory information. Yes, his sensory was all off. His emotions went just berserk. I've been there. It's just an illusion, bro. It's just an illusion. You have to gather yourself, your reasoning, your rationality. You have to say, okay, this is good for a moment. Just like with the stocks and all of the economy and all this. Like, you have to be prepared for this shit. So I'm not saying it just to say it to you, but I'm saying it to myself. My pursuits that I have going on for the future, I can't look for those to be guaranteed happiness. I'm going to go through some pain, some griefs. I'm already thinking about it like, okay. All right. I got some hardships ahead of me, right? They won't last, but just be prepared. You know, don't get so, I don't want to give too much of some of my plans, but I don't want to get too engulfed in what will be. Like the experience. I'm trying to be very descriptive, but I just have to be mindful. Okay, when shit hits the fan, which it will, because that's a part of it. That's a part of me bossing up. I have to experience bullshit. I got to go through it. I got to go through the fire. Everybody has gone through the fire. I have to go through the fire, right? So Me saying, okay, I'm doing this, all right, and I'm happy. Okay, it's good that you're happy, but let's get ready, man, because we gotta grind. You know, that's the part. That's all I wanted to share. Was just happiness is just an illusion. It's not guaranteed. It's not here to stay. It's going to flee. It will return. It will return. Hopefully, I have to use the word hope now. I don't know, because when you what was the word we look for? Happiness, and then it says subjective. So we have to use. I have to be mindful. Our experiences are different. I have to be very selective in that word. You know, I don't want to say it will happen. I can't say. I don't know your life. You don't know mine. But I just wanted to share that happiness is just an illusion of happiness. It's just an illusion. All right. I hope that meant something, or maybe inspired someone. I hope someone was like, okay, yeah, you know, like I'm shit, fellas. You with that bitch right now, you won't be with that bitch later. It's just an illusion. It's just life, biology, whatever you want to call it. It's just, you know, it's just a moment, bro. That shit won't last, man. It won't last, bro. Men are in love, women are in business, yo. It's just what it is, man. Enjoy the moment, but just know, get ready, man. Get ready for the next journey, the next step, if you will. Right? All right. I hope that meant something to you. I hope you can. If you think differently, share that with me. Talk to me. We can talk about it, man. I love it. That's why I created this channel, to share and seek wisdom. So yeah, let me know. I really appreciate you for tuning in to this show. I tried to keep it under an hour. We actually went 30 minutes over, but it's all good, man. I enjoy this, man. I really do. I'm going to keep as much as I can. My work is going to change. I think it's going to change my work hours. So I'm going to be very spotty in the near future. So, but I got to use this as an experience, not experience. I got to use this to my benefit, to prepare me for something that an idea that I have for the future. So it's just momentary. It's just moments. It's just a moment. All right. I appreciate you for tuning in. Hit the like button for me. Send me some comments. And if you have not done so, man, go ahead and subscribe, man. I would really appreciate that, man. I would love your feedback, man. Let me know what you think, baby. Man, as always, peace. Woo. Peace, peace, peace. Have peace of mind. You, me, we got to have peace of mind in this thing, to think clear, man. All right? And always, fellas, we got to be kind to ourselves. Man, don't treat her nice and treat yourself bad, Casanova. D.A.N. Don't treat her nice. Don't do shit for her that you don't do for yourself. Don't do that. So be kind to yourself. Treat yourself first, man. As always, peace, and be kind to yourself, all right?
Just let me eat you one time. You gonna sleep for 3 days, my baby. I'm gonna make you cry.
How you gonna show us?
Ay, ay, ay!